You are listening to 600 Saga. Today's feature is In the Ruins of Shambhala by Matthew Rettino. In the Ruins of Shambhala, Amar Chatterjee followed the line of reflective tape that marked the only safe route through the holy ground, carrying his duffel bag of mine clearance equipment into the central temple. Rockets, grenades, and landmines lurked in the ruins, waiting for unwary UNESCO employees to set them off. Cleaning them up was a thankless job. Passing under a stone arch, Amar picked his way through the corridor recently cleared of debris. His industrial flashlight lit copper-veined pillars carved into nubile goddesses. Such beauty could clothe a powder keg. In the shrines, bodhisattvas meditated, their cracked faces blind to the hidden charges. Amar had cleared temples in Cambodia and Sri Lanka, thinking the gods would protect him, so long as he removed mines in their name. But these fragments could no longer be protectors. They were serenity caught in the flashpoint of modern conflict. In the main chamber, the Bodhisattva Vajrapani towered over a rectangular pool, right arm clutching a vajra, a bolt of lightning that sparkled in the glare of Amar's flashlight. At the other end of the vajra, 5 closed prongs came together to form a lotus of diamonds. In all, the vajra was an artifact precious beyond reckoning, a divine power fallen to earth. Litter from the Tibetan bivouac covered the temple floor, proceeding with slow caution while his supervisor watched from afar. Amar climbed the statue's base to study the high-explosive blast mine and sprayed the golden shoulders of Vajrapani with aerosol string. Lightweight pink streamers fizzed out of a can, clinging to the brass. When the bunching streamers sagged on an invisible tripwire, he stepped back, examining the extent of the trap. Amar shuddered. Had looters seized the Vajra, they would have triggered the Chinese-made mine. The heart of Shambhala would have imploded, might still implode, vaporizing him as its columns crumbled, if he let himself make a single error. He was never paid enough to do this, but such impatience, born of greed, could be deadly here. Add the thin Himalayan air to the equation, and he could have a serious case of shaky hands. He blocked his mind, achieving a kind of zen in immersing himself in procedure. He recovered a high-pressure steel tube from his duffel, plugged a small charge into one end, and poured water from a plastic bottle into the other. He placed the tube, now a powerful water cannon, on a tripod, and using some supports, kept the cannon aimed point-blank at the mine's detonator. Finally, he blanketed both the statue and cannon with protective tarp. Amar wired the cannon to his own detonator 30 feet away, behind cover. He set off the charge. A small talk, like a subsonic bullet, sounded as vapor from the water jet bloomed out from between the tarps. The sound was soon lost, forgotten in the echoing hollow space of the great temple, but in that blip, he had saved the world. He removed the cannon. Through the mine's plastic casing, the cannon had punched a clean hole. "Neutralized," he said. He removed his helmet and dabbed the back of his neck with a towel. Raising his chin to take in the larger-than-life statue, a piece of the pure realm retained its sublime aura because of what he had done today. He touched one of the diamonds on the Vajra, marveling at its facets. He could easily pluck one, like a lotus from a pond. He levered his thumb beneath the sacred jewel, then thought better of it. To steal from such a holy place, a man in his line of work might soon have the karma revisited upon him. Amar stepped out of the temple and into the courtyard beyond. Archaeologists and military personnel from all corners of the globe crossed this way and that, keeping out of his way. Hard hat crews shouted at a crane operator removing wreckage of an attack helicopter on a mausoleum roof. In the distance, a scaffold bore hard hat workers 100 meters up as they labored to restore the city gates. He sought out the paycheck waiting for him under the blue tents. One day, when the site attained official UNESCO World Heritage status, his name would be forgotten among the gift shops and guided tours, and no one outside of his NGO would thank him for his efforts. Nobody outside his NGO, and the pure realm anyway. There were more mines in the ruins, but for Amar, those were just another day's work. This was In the Ruins of Shambhala by Matthew Rettino. Matthew is a graduate of the Odyssey Writing Workshop. He resides in Montreal, Quebec, and serves as managing editor for Scrivener Creative Review. He holds a master's in English literature from McGill University, where he wrote a thesis on the relationship between world literature and weird fiction. Visit his blog, MatthewRettino.wordpress.com. Check our show notes for links. Music is provided by Mads. Learn more about 600 Second Saga, our authors, how to submit your flash fiction, and how to support the podcast in the show notes. This has been Mariah Avix and 600 Second Saga.